At 7:42 a.m. on a cool March morning in Bakersfield, California, a security camera outside a grocery store captured something that would soon break millions of hearts. A dusty white SUV slowed near the edge of a quiet road. Its door opened. A small, brown puppy, barely 5 months old, ears too big for his head, was pushed out onto the gravel. The car pulled away. He chased it. What happened next would stun even seasoned rescuers. He ran for miles, past empty fields and stop signs, until his legs could no longer carry him. What drives a puppy to run after someone who left him behind? And who finally stopped to notice him lying there, broken but still breathing? This isn't just another sad story, it's a turning point. Hit like, subscribe, and let's go. Every morning, just after sunrise, Peter Hammond backed his brown UPS truck out of his driveway in northeast Bakersfield. A 57-year-old with a quiet smile and a routine that rarely changed, Peter had been driving delivery routes for nearly 2 decades. His world was one of packages, radio chatter, and the hum of tires on asphalt. Dogs were a part of his daily life, barking from porches, wagging tails through fences, and he always kept a box of treats on the dashboard. Though he'd never had one of his own, he said dogs reminded him to slow down. His route took him past farmlands and new developments, places where the city faded into dust. March 28 felt like any other day, clear skies, a light chill in the air, but something waited on the roadside that would break that rhythm forever. Just after 9 a.m., Peter turned off onto a quiet stretch near the edge of town, a familiar detour he'd taken hundreds of times. But this morning, something was wrong. A small shape lay motionless near the gravel shoulder, half hidden in weeds. As he slowed, he saw the thin body of a young puppy, ribs showing, paws scraped raw, chest rising in shallow, uneven breaths. The dog wasn't sleeping. He was barely conscious. Peter stopped the truck, heart racing, and stepped out into the silence. There was no collar, no tag, just red marks on his feet and dirt crusted into his fur. A truck rolled by in the distance, indifferent. Peter knelt down, pulled a water bottle from his cab, and poured a small stream into his hand. The puppy's tongue twitched. Everything else could wait. This couldn't. Peter dialed the local animal shelter with one hand while cradling the pup in the other, his delivery route now forgotten. But the hold music dragged on, and the puppy's breathing grew shallower. His back legs twitched, then stilled. Peter noticed raw patches where fur had been torn away, likely from running. There were blood trails on the gravel, leading backward for what looked like miles. A cold knot tightened in his stomach. This wasn't just a lost dog. This was something worse. A car door slamming nearby made the pup flinch, eyes wide but unfocused. Peter wrapped him in an old sweatshirt from the truck. Still no answer on the phone. He looked down the road, then back at the shaking bundle in his arms. The dog was fading, and help was too far away. For the first time, Peter wondered if he'd found him too late. Peter finally reached someone at the shelter, a woman with a calm voice who said help was on the way. But time felt too slow. He remembered a volunteer group mentioned by a neighbor, Central California Animal Rescue Coalition, and searched their number on his phone with shaking fingers. Within minutes, a volunteer vet tech named Marissa was on speaker, guiding him through how to check for shock, how to keep the pup warm, what not to do. He poured more water, gently wiped the dirt from the dog's eyes, and held him tighter, shielding him from the wind. The puppy stirred, just enough to whimper. It wasn't much, but it was something. In that moment, Peter knew he wouldn't let this life slip away. Help was coming. And maybe, just maybe, he'd reached him in time. With no time to wait, Peter lifted the limp puppy into the passenger seat of his truck and veered off his route, speeding toward the nearest vet clinic listed by the rescue volunteer. The roads blurred past, red lights ignored, his hazard lights flashing. Every bump in the road made the pup cry out, but stopping wasn't an option. When he reached the clinic, he ran inside, shouting for help. Tex rushed out with a stretcher. The vet on call didn't ask questions, just acted. Fluids. Oxygen. Pain meds. The puppy's temperature was dangerously low, his paws infected, one toe possibly fractured. Peter stood in the hallway, hands clenched, breath shallow. For all he'd done, it might not be enough. As the doors closed to the treatment room, he was left with only silence. Inside, life and death wrestled for a 5-month-old body that had run too far, for too long. The clinic lights buzzed softly as Peter sat alone in the hallway, elbows on knees, palms pressed together. Hours passed without updates. Every time the door opened, he looked up, hoping for a sign. None came. Outside, the sun dipped low behind the trees, casting long shadows across the parking lot. Inside, the pup, now referred to simply as case number 274, lay hooked to tubes and monitors, his small chest rising and falling in uneven rhythm. Peter hadn't eaten. His delivery route was long abandoned. He replayed the moment he found the dog, the stillness, the blood, the eyes that didn't look away. He didn't even know the puppy's name. But in that waiting room, with the air thick and unmoving, Peter realized something simple and terrifying: he cared. And now, all he could do was wait. At 3:17 a.m., the vet stepped into the hallway with tired eyes and a faint smile. He made it through the night. That was all Peter needed. The weight in his chest broke loose. In the recovery room, under soft blankets and blinking monitors, the puppy blinked slowly, dazed but awake. He turned his head weakly toward Peter's voice, ears twitching. One paw lifted, trembling. Not much, but enough. The clinic staff called him a miracle. Peter called him Chase. Because that's what he did, chased love, even after it abandoned him. The news spread fast. The Rescue Coalition posted a video of Chase's first steps. Within hours, it was everywhere. 6 million views. Thousands of comments. One act of cruelty had met a wall of compassion. And one tired delivery driver had helped a dog fight back toward life, step by step. Weeks later, Peter stood at the edge of his route, holding a small box of treats, just in case. But something had changed. He thought often about Chase, now living in Santa Barbara with a retired couple who saw his story on the news and drove 3 hours to meet him. They sent updates: Chase running near the ocean, nose to the wind, paws finally healed. Peter never expected a 5-month-old dog to remind him what kindness really meant. It wasn't dramatic. It was stopping. Noticing. Acting, when no one else did. He didn't save the world, just one small life that day. But sometimes, that's enough. Somewhere out there, another dog is waiting. And maybe someone, somewhere, will be the one who doesn't look away. Chase's story didn't end with just his rescue. It reminded us all that even the smallest actions can make the biggest difference. It's easy to feel overwhelmed in a world that sometimes seems broken, but stories like this show us the power of compassion. If one person can change the life of a little puppy, imagine what we can do together. Thank you for watching, for caring, for being a part of Chase's journey. If you've ever had a moment where you stopped, looked, and acted, share it with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, share, and leave a comment below. Let's keep spreading kindness, one story at a time. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. There's so much more to come.